Welcome to HashiCorp Live. This is Getting into Consul Part 10 with Rosemary and Cole. We've been doing this for 10 streams now, I guess 11 if you count our redo. Yeah. Where Cole has been learning Consul, and I've been also learning Consul because there are many nuances and sometimes you just don't really know. The premise of this is that we are getting started from scratch. So we are not doing anything on containers. We're not doing anything on container orchestrators or other orchestrators. We're doing them all on virtual machines for the sake of learning and troubleshooting. So the premise of this is that if you would like to interact with us, feel free to drop a note in chat. If you're watching a replay, we will be adding links to the description of the replay, so you can refer to the resources we are referring to. Now, in part 9, we set up a Consul cluster with the service mesh enabled, and then we created a metrics server, so that way we could collect service mesh metrics and information about the metrics. As I recall, we're not going to dive further into that. You can go really far into metrics, but we're not going to do that for this one. Instead, for part 10, we're going to pivot a bit and go back to the operator necessity of connecting to services outside of the mesh. So in the previous parts, we were talking about, as a developer, what you would do with a service mesh, how you would configure it. In this part, we're going to return to you as an operator, and you need to connect to things outside of the mesh. So whether things from outside come into the mesh or things going out of the mesh to something else. Cole, is there anything I missed?
That sounds about right.
Excellent. Okay. If you would like any of the replays, we have a whole bunch of replays on our YouTube playlist. Feel free to go and check those out. And in the meantime, we'll probably just get started with the problem statement. We'll rehash the problem statement from the last time. So, as I mentioned before, we need to connect to services that can't be part of the mesh. This is really common in a situation when you have systems that have databases that you can't put proxies in, Envoy proxies in front of, other services that you may not be able to add proxies to or otherwise put into a mesh, right? So you have to run them independently. It's hard to get the same level of control, that you get in the mesh. It's fair. You want to be able to stretch that mesh a bit, right? You want to be able to say, if I'm in a mesh, I need to be able to connect to these services outside of it and still control traffic and shape the traffic, collect metrics, etc. So what we're going to do is set up 2 types of gateways today. First is going to be a terminating gateway. A terminating gateway takes traffic from in the mesh and goes out of the mesh to, in this case, our database endpoint. Cole, could you recap to our viewers and our audience why I put database in quotes?
Because it's a fake database. That's really it.
Yeah, it's a fake one. So don't be alarmed if you find that the database is not a real database. We are pretending it is, just for the sake of ease of at least this code base, but also so Cole does not have to sit here finding a managed database on Amazon to spin up. The other thing that we are going to do is set up an ingress gateway. So we're first going to set up terminating gateway, so mesh to out of mesh. Then we're going to set up an ingress gateway from out of mesh to into mesh. So an ingress gateway is one of the gateways that you can set up for Consul that controls inbound traffic to the mesh. There's such a thing called a Consul API gateway. Yay, it's one of those. So you can check that out. We're not going to cover that today. It's currently running for Kubernetes workloads specifically. Since we're not doing Kubernetes, we're going to focus on the ingress gateway for this stream. Cole, any questions? Anything that I missed?
I don't think so. Other than just if we wanted to cover just the infrastructure changes that have happened in the background, because there's been some stuff from the last for the first attempt at this that we have changed since.
So we should probably explain that. Yes.
Yeah, we can go. Yeah, sure, why not? So as usual in the background, we've set up a bit of code in advance so that we're not, so that the stream doesn't reach, Lord of the Rings trilogy link. And so specifically what I've gone ahead and done,
we're
and
past
what
that, by the way.
yeah, I mean, for the total amount, yeah, we are. Like, Aragorn's got nothing on us. But for the actual code, what we've gone ahead and done is added 2 more auto-scaling groups. One for the terminating gateway and one for the ingress gateway. And what does that look like? Well, from a high level, what I've done is gone ahead and just built those out as if I was making yet another service, yet another API, yet another web service. Everything is practically the same. The only thing that's different is that I haven't set up an actual service on them yet, because that's something that we're going to show and do. And then the other thing has been creating an entirely separate subnet, not subnet, an entirely different VPC, so an entirely separate network, and putting our fake database in that and creating a peering connection between our original VPC and the database one, so that we can really simulate the pain and suffering of trying to connect things between 2 different networks. And
by the way,
yes.
last time we had to fix this, so we're skipping over this. We're skipping over this for this redo. But last time when we did the stream live, we had to fix a few things with appearing.
Yeah, and I honestly still am not entirely sure why it worked. But let's just go past that. The next thing is the only other thing to know is that we did remove the things we did around the service splitter, router, and resolver. So around splitting that API v1 to API v2, and among other reasons, this is just to reduce the cognitive overhead of just all the different things that we're dealing with, among other reasons, which maybe we can talk about later when we get through it. But that is that. A lot of new code added if you're following along in the GitHub repo, but it's all stuff you've probably seen. So that's that.
Alrighty. Shall you share screen and we shall proceed to a terminating gateway?
Yeah, we shall. Alrighty.
We're having a grand old time. It's we'll see how both of us fare. Our mental context and capabilities are a little limited right now.
Me screen, and got that up. Just gonna add that on here. Can you see it?
Yes.
All right, perfect. And then I've also got the API server open with, and I've gone ahead and made it so that it can interact with the Consul server. So I've got our root token ready to go there. The web server, the terminating gateway, the ingress gateway, and the database in the other network. So those things are all there. And then additionally, just to prove that the Consul, we've got all 5 of these servers connected, or nodes connected, and then the services here we see are deconnected. So that's our starting point.
Can you increase the size of the terminal?
Yes, I can. I think I did for one of these. Yes, I did. I just didn't do it for the rest of them. Which one do we want to start in here? The terminating gateway or the...
Yeah, let's start with the terminating gateway. So remember, we're going to keep reiterating this because then it just, that way we all solidify this. The terminating gateway allows us to connect to services outside of the mesh. In this case, we want to connect to a database that is outside the mesh. One of the mistakes we made last time, not mistakes, but one of the things we didn't really do, which took up a lot of time, was that we did not start the Consul client on the terminating gateway. If you are deploying a terminating gateway on a virtual machine, it is recommended, or actually you should, have a Consul client on there with the terminating gateway. So now, first question, Cole, is there a Consul client properly connected to the server on the terminating gateway virtual machine?
There is, to my knowledge. There we go.
Yay. Why does it say failed?
Probably, that's interesting because the node is actually connected here because we can see that it's reaching out. So
okay,
I'm not really sure what it's saying there, but I mean, it should be just fine. It could just be because we don't actually have, any service behind anything, right? Because we don't have the like it's got the sidecar here. Actually, I don't even think that's running, but
No, I don't.
for our purposes, it should be fine. So I think we're okay to proceed.
Yeah. We've gotten this error before because we didn't open a port, and I don't think it affects us right now. So I think we'll proceed.
Yeah, we've got the port open.
Yeah, exactly.
Allegedly.
Okay, so we are going to remember when we did the terminating gateway. A terminating gateway is a lot like a service in itself, right? What you're doing is deploying. The terminating gateway behaves like a Consul service to connect to the database service. So even though the database service is not meshified, that's not a word. I'm using it. It's easier to say
it is
this.
now.
Yeah, even though the database is not meshified, the terminating gateway acts as a service that kind of fronts that database as if it was meshified. Okay, so the first thing we are going to do is, let's see, we're going to create that external service in Consul, right? So the external service is the database service.
And right, so we should do that from one of our from our one with the that can act as the root. Yeah.
Well, you could do it from the terminating gateway as well, right? Remember the last time we didn't do it because we couldn't get the terminating gateway client connected to start. So we just went and we did this on the API server. But we can actually do this on the terminating gateway, I think, right? As long as it has the root token.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I just went ahead and set it.
Management. Oh, okay, cool. Well,
yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. We can go ahead and do it here for ease.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So the next thing we're going to do is create an external or database.json. I think that's what we did the last time, and we'll do it again this time.
Okay.
So a database.json file, you can put it in the root directory. It should be fine either way.
Okay.
I will send you the JSON snippet for those who are following. Yes, for those who are in following us, you can get the tutorial that we're following on there. So we're basically following this tutorial and altering it for ourselves. Okay. So first thing is we need to call the node name. Let's see. So what did we call this the last time? I think this was it was the AWS virtual machine host name. So what was the host name of the database virtual machine?
We named it the full host name. I thought we just called it like database node.
Oh, I guess we could call it database node.
Yeah. Okay, sure. Let's do that. Database node, and then the address should be the private IP of the database node, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Which is just, I can see in my little tab here, which is just 10.254.2.47. Right. Smooth sailing so far.
Okay. External node. We need this. Well, we don't need this, but if we turned on ESM, which is a different Consul feature that we have not talked about at all during this, we won't turn that on. So keep those. It doesn't hurt to have them, but they're mostly for ESM, the feature.
Okay. What's ESM?
I don't remember what it stands for. ESM Consul. Let's pull it up. Consul External Service Monitor. So you can use it to monitor external nodes. I'll paste a link in it. Thank you, Blake. Okay. I'll post a link in that. Okay. So the next thing is that service. We need the ID database. I guess we could call it database. If we don't have an ID called database. And then the service is database.
Okay.
We're really repetitive. What port did we put it on? Oh yeah, we pretended it was a Postgres database. Yeah, we pretended it was a Postgres. It's not actually a Postgres database. Okay, so here's the JSON.
So this looks good?
Yes.
Okay. I guess my only quick question here is just these two identifiers here, the ID and the service, right? Service. Which one is the main like field we're going to be interacting with here? The ID or the service?
I think it's
In terms of,
ID.
like reference. The ID. Okay, gotcha. I'm always just curious when we see these to know like which names are there for our convenience and which ones are there that the other services are going to be referencing.
Right. Well, in
Okay.
this case, because we only have one database service instance, it would ID and service pretty much align. This like they don't matter as much. But service, if we had multiple database instances, then service would matter more than ID.
Okay. Yeah. I think Blake just
That's
gave
what,
us. Yeah.
I'm just gonna pop that on. I'm brain hurts. Okay.
Yeah. I'm just reading it real quick.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
okay.
in this situation, they're the same. So really,
Okay, that makes
don't
sense.
as much.
So the ID for the specific one, but you usually don't care about the specific one. You usually just care about connecting to one of the many behind that. So that's why you would reference the service, not the ID.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So I can save this.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. It is saved.
Yes. And now we have to put it into Consul. So this API call, we will have to make an API call. Don't forget to put the token. Oh no, I pasted it without the token. Oopsies.
All good.
One second. I'm just for those. I'm behind the scenes. I am sending the snippet to Cole so that we
Yes,
don't.
very helpful. So that I don't fat finger it, which I have been known to do.
Oh, the data should be data.json.
Okay, cool.
Database.json.
Edit it around here. Ooh. Oh, that's right. I'm not in VI, so I can't do that. I was like, why is it saying H?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what we found out last time was that we couldn't do this with, it was preferable that we do this at least with the API call because it's an external service. So
yeah.
I don't believe we did this last time.
On this part here, what we're saying, just from my understanding, is we're passing in the token because we need that to be able to authenticate and actually do this. We're passing that database file and we're posting to our client, our local listening client that ultimately is going to take this up to the server.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, gotcha. So my question is, how come we're doing this through the API instead of just through the Consul client itself?
I don't remember if we did it through the Consul client last time or we did it through the API. I think because it was an external service, it wasn't letting us it may not have let us do it through the API, through the CLI, but we could try it through the CLI and see what happens.
Yeah, it's up to you. I think we did just do it this way.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm perfectly fine with that. It just seems from my own understanding, I'm just curious why we can't use the CLI.
I think we could. I think in this situation we might have, but I don't remember if we tried it and it wasn't available to us because of external service or not. So.
Okay. So we want to give it a try?
Yeah, we could give it a try. Why not?
Okay.
The spirit of trying things, right, everyone?
Nice. Okay. So what is this going to look like here?
Consul, catalog, and then help.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's see. Services. So we need the services. Oh no, Consul catalog. Where's the registration? It's like we got to look at the Consul CLI. Hold on.
All good.
You got to really go services register. Yeah, Consul services register. There we go.
Consul
CLI
services.
things. Yeah.
Register. Do you want me to do a help?
Yes, please.
Okay. I'm guessing it's a tag help.
So better explanation because our brains are confused from the last time. If you register the instance via the CLI, it will be associated directly with the agent with which you are communicating. For external services, we normally recommend associating them with non-existent nodes. To do that, you need to register the external node and service using the catalog register endpoint. That was why. No. It was why we couldn't get it to work last time. I am remembering.
No, I get that. That just to me, it just sort of seems like if we're all connected here, that we'd be able to register it up. I don't know. That's just, I think, my own mental model disconnect. Okay. So we do need to use the command then, yeah?
Yeah, we do need to use it because
Okay.
we're declaring a new node as well. And node registration tends to be automated, right? Because once you bring up a console client, it will register the node identity. But we don't have a node that belongs to console because this database doesn't really belong on doesn't have a console node, right?
Right. Yeah, it doesn't yet. Oh, okay, that's right. Because there is no node connected yet because it doesn't even know about it. We're just going ahead and registering the service before we even have it up. So it's kind of like
Yeah,
a
exactly.
hollow like placeholder for now.
Yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
if we use the API endpoint, it will handle the node registration and the external node registration and the external service registration. When we use the CLI, it's implicit that the service registration is to that node, right? To the node of the terminating
Okay.
gateway. Yeah.
Okay, I see.
So
Okay,
just
gotcha.
to be clear, because it is an external service, we have to use the API command. We can't just use a CLI command.
Okay, gotcha.
Mhm.
All right, well, I'll go ahead and add this. And true came back right here.
Okay, so that means it's available. If you check out the console UI, which is what we did before, you'll notice that
We did name it.
yes, I know. That's why I knew we named it the host name the last time. Now, it doesn't really matter. Like for folks who are tuning in, it doesn't really matter necessarily. Like we're not doing, because it's an external endpoint, like it's not going to affect necessarily anything. I mean, you should probably though name it some kind of a host name that's relevant to that external service endpoint. But that's okay. We can leave it as it is. It's fine.
Yeah.
Nothing's wrong with this.
The only thing that may go awry here is that what is it? The token that I generated, the node ID token, is using this format for the host name.
Oh yeah, that would be a problem then.
So maybe we go ahead and just fix
maybe
that
we should
before we
update
get
that. Yes.
Yeah, okay. So the endpoint to delete this looks like what? Deregister?
Deregister, yes.
Let's try it.
I think you have to remove things out of the field.
Okay, unknown
Let's
field, node meta.
Hold on, we're looking at the API for this. We're looking into this. Where is it? Catalog. Where is catalog? Catalog. Here we are. Catalog register. Catalog deregister. The parameters involve this. I'll send it to you so that way you don't have to worry about it. Oh no, I just accidentally clicked something. Oops. Oop. Deregister entity. Okay. So we need something along the lines of this payload. So let's make the updates. We didn't enter, what was it? Database underscore node, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here you go. This is the payload that you'll need to send.
Okay. Oh, okay. So I'll just make a database deregister. And I'll just drop that in. And we'll try this again. Okay, cool. And then that should get rid of it once it updates, but I'll go ahead and make the changes to the original one here. Ooh, what the heck happened here? Okay.
It's a day.
All right. So 10, 2, 5, 4, 2, 4, 7. That look correct and in line? It does. Okay, sweet. All right, second time's a charm. What did I do here? Yeah, here we go. So this should do it. Should I wait for this to clear here?
No, I don't think we registered it. Something about it didn't register.
Said true when we did it.
What was the data
Maybe
center?
DC1.
It is, okay. Well, that's strange.
Service ID. It was database.
It was database. It was node is database node. Question
Or
mark?
is it? Let's see. Is it? Well, it was prior because that's obviously right there.
Right. I'll just re-register it and then we'll re-register and see what will deregister.
Okay. It will only.
Remove the service ID from the payload.
Remove the service ID from the payload.
Then it removes the whole node.
Oh, otherwise it thinks you just want this specific service on that node. Okay. Okay, so true, and it's gone. Nice. Okay, third time's a charm. Where do we got here? Database JSON, so this should be it. And there it is. It is up.
Yay. Okay. All right. So we did that part. Now what we need to do is we have a service and now we have to start the terminating gateway.
Okay. Yeah.
Something that we did. Oh, we didn't. Okay. Well, we can talk about it later. I was going to ask if you put the intentions up, but we don't need the intentions right now.
They should be.
Okay.
Yep.
So we pre-staged this. Yeah, we pre-staged this, but in order for API to connect to the external service, which is database, you do need to set an intention to allow the meshified service to connect to the external service through the gateway. So we already staged that for those who are looking at it. Okay. Now we create a terminating gateway. This is the terminating gateway config. We shall do it this way. Terminating. I don't know what you want to call it. Did you want to call it something special or no? You know, I'll just leave it to you to call it whatever.
Yeah, I don't. That looks fine.
We could call it database gateway. I don't know. You could call the terminating gateway whatever you want to call the terminating gateway.
Yeah, I'll just at least on this one. I'll just be very clear.
Make sure you are in the terminating gateway, by the way.
So this should be HCL. I am. So this should be HCL.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to leave this name as this or?
No, I mean we could just call it terminating gateway. I don't know, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm just making, because for some of these things I'm like I still don't have a compass around like when the name matters, like and when it doesn't, and when it's just a local. So that's what I'm asking.
If we had different terminating gateways for different kinds of endpoints, then it would matter more. But because we only have the one, I mean, I don't know if we need to get too fancy with naming. But from a standardized naming approach, if you had specific endpoints that you're planning to terminate into certain networks, perhaps you would separate the name by, you know, specific external services. Not that you could have multiple external services to the terminating gateway, but if you had like different services and different networks, for example, and you wanted to deploy different terminating gateways for some reason or another,
that makes sense.
Perhaps, get fancier with naming.
So if we had another terminating gateway trying to reach out, say, into another completely different network, that's where we would want to differentiate there.
Maybe, cool. Maybe. It depends on, you know, where, well, it depends on where your terminating gateway is, right? From a security view, right? Do you put your terminating gateways in certain networks that have routing to certain other networks, right? Or do all terminating gateway network, does that network have routing to everything? So you just have to pick and choose, basically.
Okay. I kind of get it, but I think it's enough for now.
Okay. All right. So we have a one terminating gateway with a service database. So you can save that file.
So just for my own grounding here. So what we've done is we have made a like hollow placeholder for this database service. right?
Yeah.
And we've done that. And the next thing we've done is we've made another servicey thing that, right,
Yep.
that is the
Mhm.
terminating gateway that is
Yep.
referencing this new placeholder service database.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Sweet. All righty. So that is made. And
Yeah.
how do we use it? The config
Okay.
write
So
thing?
you're going to, yeah, so you're going to go console config, write, and then the terminating gateway HCL.
Okay. This looks good.
Yep.
All right. It has been
Okay.
written.
So if you go to your console UI, because,
Yep.
it's good to do this. Nothing is going to be up yet, right? Because there's
Right.
nothing available yet. So we didn't
Yeah.
actually start the terminating gateway. We just declared the fact that the terminating gateway will eventually be in existence.
Yeah.
So
But by
what
doing
we're going
this,
to do,
this did tell the
Yes.
server about it, though. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So what we're then going to do is start the terminating gateway using Envoy. So
Oh,
we're
that's
going to
right.
do-
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
This is the part we didn't put it in a systemd file the last time. It's kind of up to you if you want to this time. I assume it doesn't matter.
Yeah, let's probably we can if you have it on hand. Do you?
I don't.
If not, let's just
We
start
have the
it
systemd
manually.
file, don't we?
We have one for Consul Envoy, but we don't have one
it's
for
the same thing. We just need to change the command, right?
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that works.
Yeah.
All right.
So if you open that.
Okay. Yeah. So
yeah, you
here,
see that.
let me look. So
Are you looking at the Ingress gateway?
Oh, I'm in the wrong one right now. F. Well, everything we've done is just through the
It's fine
console
because
server, right? So
right.
that shouldn't
Everything's through the API anyway, so nothing is affected there.
Yeah, good catch. Let me go.
Are you sure this is the Ingress gateway?
Yeah, let me go back and let's just this is the bane of many tabs, right? Okay.
I'm tempted to increase the pepcat counter. If anybody agrees with me on this, you let me know.
See, this is the thing. Like, I can rename the tabs here in iTerm too, but unless I do some weird config, even when I type a command, it'll just go back to this. But this should definitely be the terminating gateway. I don't think we did anything in here that we need to redo though. Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, because we were just interacting with the
API.
The API and then the client. Okay, so we're good.
It would matter
far.
for those who are watching. It would matter if we didn't register the external service, for example, if it was if the service was actually running on a node and we were doing a real service registration that was on that node, it would matter. But because it's an external service, it didn't matter which node you were running on. We were registering the node, an external node and an external service through the Consul API anyway. So star asterisk. Yada.
All right. Gateway equals terminating.
Space register. Yep.
Is that service?
Yep.
Oh,
service.
that's the option. Okay, because that's what we named it. Terminating gateway. Terminating gateway. Then we don't need sidecar 4. Doesn't look like.
We do not.
Okay, but we do need address. Did we use this last time?
We did. We just went 000. So you could go 000, but this is an interpolation that Consul will automatically handle. So it will look for the interface IP of ETH0, which is the private IP interface.
And it does reach out to port 8443.
Yes. We confirmed this last time. It is 8443.
Yeah, we did. I've got the security group rule in there for determining gateway to allow this, but I did not add it to the ingress gateway yet because I could not remember where that came from. So, but now I know.
That's fine. It's okay.
Okay, this looked good. No typo. Yep. Terminating, register, service, address, get interface. Okay.
Okay.
That looks good there.
Yep.
Then do we need to start Consul as well, or just Consul Envoy?
Just Consul Envoy.
Okay. Righty.
Yep.
So
Status.
there's that.
Let's just check it runs.
And what's just happened is I just typed all that, but I actually don't know what we just did there. So we may just need to restart it again, because sometimes we just have to restart it here, or maybe not.
Okay. So it looks like something failed. So Consul connect Envoy. That means it starts an Envoy proxy with the type gateway terminating. So that sets a certain config. Register service terminating gateway address.
Yeah.
I wonder if it doesn't like the address. Can you change it? Because it looks like because when we put it in systemd, I think it stops the interpolation, or it doesn't currently.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So just do 0000 or something.
Okay. So just 00. Oop, that's 0.0. That's 0.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we don't need the address because by default, I assume it goes on 8443 anyway, but.
Okay. All right. So
we'll just do 000.
We shall try again. So.
Okay. Can you copy that command that's in the systemd file and run it manually?
Yep.
Just to make sure. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We are missing part of the token.
It's not going to show me the whole thing. Yeah.
Should.
Oddly enough, I cannot side scroll. It's probably my terminal that I'm using, but we'll just grab it from here.
You're missing the 2. Put a 2 at the end. Yeah, put a 2 at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Woo. Okay. Well.
I think, if I recall, I think we may have not even added the address.
Yeah, I don't think we added it. Yeah.
So
just remove it.
Maybe we just try to get rid of this. Yeah.
I think we did it by default anyway, so it was fine.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I'm tempted to put on lo-fi beats. For no apparent reason. I don't know what it is today, but okay, so it looks like something is even more confused.
Maybe I just try running it again out here, because that gave us a bit more of a useful error.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
What now? Permission denied. Missing service right.
Yes, that would be important. Okay. So the good news is that means that it registered the terminating gateway. The thing is that there needs to be additional ACL permission that allows the token that you passed in does not have permission to service write on terminating gateway. So what we'll need to do is go back to the token policy here. Which one is it?
Is it the service identity or the node identity one?
It would be node identity.
Okay, so this should be 3.
Yeah, because this token is the node identity, right?
For the Consul Envoy, it's the service identity.
Oh, yeah, then we'll need it for the service identity because you've used it.
Cool. So
now, if you pass, can you show me the node identity? Because last time we passed the node identity, I think.
I think last time we just started pasting the bootstrap token everywhere.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Is that the
this
node?
One is, this one here is the node identity.
Can you look at the policy?
Yeah, if it'll drop down.
Okay. So this means that, so it doesn't have service right. We could do it on the service identity.
Okay. So.
Yeah. Service identity. Okay.
Isn't this it though?
No, because you called it terminating gateway, not TM.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay, well,
just copy.
Rule,
yeah, just copy the rule. No. You could update the policy. Just add terminating gateway to it.
Yeah. Where are those policies in here?
Policies?
Oh, they're just here. Policies.
Mm-hmm.
What did I call it?
No, because it's built in. So you go back to tokens.
Okay.
Go back to TM.
Where's the edit button?
You can just copy paste, I think.
Nope.
No, it won't let you type.
Nope.
Okay,
I
well,
guess I
we'll
can just
create a
make
new one.
Yeah.
Create a policy.
Yeah,
Go
I'll
back
just make a new
to.
one.
Well, you just need to attach the one, right? So go back to policy, create.
Yeah.
Terminating gateway. Uh-huh.
I'll just put service. Identity, so we're like super, so we know what it is. I'll fix that, and then there should be terminating gateway. Does anything else here need to change?
I would maybe remove them just for clarity, right? So lines 4 through 12, I would remove them. Yeah, because they overlap with the other one, so it's not really
so you just want to attach this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That works. Okay,
also give it service right access for DB service while we're at it. Right. So we need to give it service right access to the database service.
So I believe we called that just database.
Database, yeah.
So this should be it. Okay.
Yeah. So what we need to do is allow, when we start the terminating gateway, we need to allow it to edit itself. So terminating gateway, which is the name of the service. If we had named the terminating gateway TM, that would have been a different story. We didn't. We named it terminating gateway. So that's why we're going back and doing this. And we also need it to have right access to the external service that it needs to connect to, in this case, database.
Okay. So I will save this.
Mm-hmm.
Then we will attach it and save it. And now we should be able to do that command, right?
Yeah.
Let's just see. Let me double check that file. So this should all work right here. So we should just be able to just actually start it. Let's see the status here. Yep, I did it.
Oh, it's up. Yay. So exciting.
Sweet.
Okay.
So what should we do now?
Well, check the console UI. It should have a console service up, or console terminating gateway up.
Yep.
There we are.
There's that.
And if you click on the terminating gateway, you'll notice there's that one linked service notification there.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You'll notice that. Yeah. So it routes to the database. And more importantly, it should have access because we added an intention to allow it to do so.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
The one right here.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to test this out. If we connect to API should connect to database, right? So
yeah. Although we do need to go change around the fake service on the API real quick.
Yes, we do need to do that.
So I believe that is in our systemd file for it.
Yeah, so we need to change fake services information. We also need to change console to tell the console client, not the console client, the console service definition for API to say that there's an upstream to database. Remember?
Yes. Yeah. This should just be to the proxy, right? Or something like that. I don't recall what this should be.
Yes. So it will be localhost. You could go 5432 because it's a database. We'll pretend it's a database.
Right. Okay, cool. And this,
let me just double check.
Okay, yeah.
Because it's always good to double check.
We don't send it to the proxy here, or I have no idea, honestly.
We send it to, so we want to send it through the proxy, right? So proxy will connect, the proxies will do all the work for us, right? So we're funneling it through localhost, and then the proxies will do all of the work. So localhost, if you say 5432, the proxy itself will map it catches it, says, oh, this is 5432. It should go to the database. Database is an external service. Let me go through route through the terminating gateway.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So this brings up a question that's kind of a tangent, but that means locally, then this service is going to recognize 5432 as going to that database, meaning that if we tried to bind something else to this actual node's 5432, it would be bad, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. You cannot just bind it to, yeah. So that's one of the way that we're setting this up is not using transparent proxying. So we're routing through the proxy through localhost. So just keep in mind that when you do that, you can't just add other things to other ports, to the same ports. You have to preserve them.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that's why I guess that's where the transparent proxy then comes into play. Cool. Mm-hmm. Alrighty. So that looks good there. And then we need to go make the change to the config file, right?
That is correct.
Oh, whoops, wrong folder.
It is console.d. Yeah. And it's the API.hcl, right? Because we're changing the service registration, service definition.
Yeah. What am I doing wrong here? Why isn't that
API console.d, etc console.d?
Yeah, I'm just making sure, like, why that should be auto completing. Okay, API. So it is in there. Okay. Maybe
I think you put console twice. I think you put console twice. Though.
I did. Yes, you are correct. Okay.
Okay. So we need to add the connect stanza, but we have a port 2000. The check is there. We need to add proxy to the connect stanza, just like we did.
I believe last time we just looked at how we did it on web, right? So like here, and then just added this little bit here and just change stuff around.
Yep, pretty much.
Work with me, VI here. All right. I need to configure my stuff here to give me some line numbers. This kind of drives me nuts. All right, destination.
We recreate this all the time. I don't think there's a way for us to do that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I mean, I guess I could just add like a VI config bit to all of our scripts, but that'll be for some other time. Okay, so this look good?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think.
There's
a margin for error. There's a margin for error today, okay?
Yeah.
Everything looks a little sus. Okay. All right. Here we go. Save that thingy. And then I think we can do a console reload. Huh?
Oh, just console reload. Since we changed the system file, we do need to restart the API service.
We do need to. Yeah, you could restart the API now. I mean, I don't think it does anything. It just will tell you nothing works, but that's not the worst thing. Okay, so API will restart.
So curious here, we're restarting the API fake service, but we still need to tell console about the changes to the config, right?
Yep. So you can do a console reload, remember, which will.
And I just leave it just like that, right? Nice. So now things should just work.
You may want to do status API. Make sure API is up and running.
Okay.
There would be no point to this if API was not up and running.
Okay. So it's so if we go to here.
Yay!
It worked. Holy crap. Unbelievable. I'm going to just drop my mic right now, even though it's on a stand, and I'm just going to close the stream because we just got it.
So we did not get to this point the last time we tried this.
We did not.
Yes. So this is what we should have seen. Part of our problem the last time was a mix-up with node identity, service identity, ACL tokens, and as well as some resolvers and splitters and routers that we had in place.
That was the main thing, though. I'm just glad that we got it going without just copy and pasting the bootstrap token all over the place. Because by the last time we'd done that, I was lost.
Right. Okay. So this is what you should see. Actually, Cole, can you add a /API at the end of the local the load balancer? Yeah.
UI or /API?
/UI.
Okay.
Yeah. Will it do it or no?
We'll just
okay, here we go. Much easier view. So in this call tree, part of this fake service is this call tree. We start with web. Web has an upstream to API. Now, database was an external service. And so because we've registered the database as an external service, and it's not technically part of the mesh, like it's not like we put a proxy in front of it in the mesh sense. But because there's a terminating gateway that connects to the external service, it almost behaves as if it is part of it. So you don't really see much of a difference from an application or development view. You really only know it from sort of the infrastructure or operational view. Are you enjoying this?
I am. I'm enjoying that it is working, and
excellent.
It's tickling my insides.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I don't know what to tell you. All right. Okay, so we are halfway there. Now we will do something that we did not manage to do the last time. So this part was easier in that we had tried this once already and we didn't do it. Now we're going to do something that we didn't try before, which is an ingress gateway.
Yeah.
I know.
So before we do that, I just want to get the infrastructure stuff out of the way. Do I need to go ahead and add, where is it? This equivalent here to the ingress gateway?
What's your listener for the ingress gateway? Like what port do you want to attach to the load balancer for the ingress gateway? I thought we built an ALB, right?
Yeah,
an ALB.
We
okay,
did.
Here we go. Yeah.
90 was what it was at.
Okay.
Well, the target group was, but it's listening.
Yeah, 9090. Okay, that's good. So the target group is 9090. So as long as 9090 is open from the load balancer to the ingress gateway, we can have the ingress gateway listen on port 9090, and we should be fine.
So we don't need to make changes.
We shouldn't.
Okay, I'm sure. Let me find the ingress gateway security group. Okay, here it is. It is allowing the load balance going to allow traffic on 80 and 443, and then the ingress gateway itself is going to allow traffic just from the bastion currently. What is missing here?
Well, does ingress connect to, can ingress connect to the API service and the web service on the right ports?
Oh,
like
yeah.
9090, 9091?
Does it need to?
Yes, because it's an ingress gateway.
Yeah, and which I'm guessing that the ingress gateway itself needs to, not the load balancer.
Right, the ingress gateway itself.
Like 90% sure, and I am. There we go, ingress gateway.
Oh, good. So there we go. Okay, all right. Okay, good. Okay, so we're going to connect the ingress gateway to API. Right now, we've simplified this setup in that our load balancer connects to web, and then web connects to API, which connects to database. That's probably like your canonical three-tier setup. And the load balancer wouldn't otherwise have access to the app to API, which is that middle, the second tier of service, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to set up an ingress gateway so that, for example, an engineer who needs to debug, needs to access the API service for some reason or another, can access it through the ingress gateway, something like that. Whatever you want to do. You could also do this like, maybe you have a local instance of the web service and you want to do a little bit of debugging with a development API service that's hosted somewhere. You may go through the ingress gateway to do that, right? So from a patterns perspective, you want to maybe get access to that second tier, or perhaps even the nth tier of your set of services, and you can do that with the ingress gateway. All right.
That was a good description. I liked it.
Thank you. Yes. We're all about tangible use cases. All right. So the first thing we're going to need to do is create the ingress gateway configuration, just like we did with the terminating gateway.
Okay. So I'll just make a new file here. Ingress gateway. It's going to be JSON or HCL?
It is going to be HCL.
Alrighty. Okay, so we've got this here, kind ingress gateway. So immediately, why ingress service?
You can name it whatever you desire. It's the same thing with the terminating gateway name, right? If you had multiple ingress gateways, you may have different names for it.
Oh, okay. So I did call this IG, like how I had TM. Do we want to just
So
go
then
ahead and
maybe
call
you
this?
should name it IG.
Yeah, it's such a bad name, but okay, we'll just do it. Okay. All right. So all of us,
We had
the rest
such
of us,
promise. You named your cat so well.
yeah. My fingers got tired. I was like, so many S's and D's. Okay. Anyhow.
Okay.
So we'll save this.
Okay. Go back to it. Go back to it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Just kidding.
So the port is 9090. It's the external service port, meaning what we're going to be accessing the port on. So remember how we configured the gateway, the ALB to gateway on 9090.
Yeah.
This is it. This is not the 9090 of the API. So for those who are watching this and you're eternally confused, this is, I believe, what we're going to access API on. So it will be 9090.
So is this from the load balancer to the ingress gateway or the ingress gateway to the API?
Load balancer to ingress gateway.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
And when we hit 9090, it is going to, the ingress gateway is going to be like, because this is 9090, I know that I should send this to API.
Yes.
Cool. All right.
What remains to be seen is if we accidentally did something that we're not supposed to because we served 9090 on the same exact port.
Yes, that is the story of our streaming life.
So we may or may not have done something that that this may not work. To be seen. Not 100% sure. So, all right, save this file.
All right.
Yep. And then what we're going to do is we are going to do a console config write as we expect to do. Ingress gateway.
And we don't need to do this to the API because we want it on this node, and that's really it. We want it on this node, right?
Right. So we didn't need to use the API because it's not an external service. We are spinning up yet another service in the mesh, but it allows inbound to the mesh. So it does not matter for we don't need to necessarily use the API. So have at it. Right. Okay. So one thing to note is that we set up L7 layer 7 and app aware intentions, which means that it has a protocol defined as HTTP because API is running over HTTP and not TCP. So when we go back to the ingress gateway, if you can configure, go back there.
Okay.
We need to set the protocol to be the same as the service, which is HTTP.
Okay, cool.
I forgot that we set it as HTTP because I thought we set it as TCP, but we didn't.
So, okay. So this should work.
Yeah, this is fine.
All right. Second time's a charm. Oh, it worked. Yep.
All right. So the next thing we're going to do is the Consul connect Envoy command. So if you could go into the Consul Envoy systemd file, we will once more proceed. And
ready?
Yep. I don't know if this will work because we need to tell it. We need to tell it which port to bind to, and I'm a little concerned that we won't be able to. So we'll see.
Okay, so gateway ingress, register, service, ingress.
IG, remember
we called
it's
it IG. Yeah.
Yep.
And then the address.
Yeah, so this is where I think we're going to get a little bit of a problem. Remember how it complained about the bind address? We need we need to tell it to bind to port 9090. Otherwise, it will bind to port.
And this does it?
This may not do it. That's where I'm trying to figure out how we bind it.
Okay.
Maybe this is going to work. I don't think so, though.
Okay. So
I'm
you
a
want me to
little
just give it a go?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So
I expect it's not going to be happy though. This
yeah.
address should be an arbitrary address that will be used by Consul for health checking the gateway. Okay. So how do we bind it to the port? Is it the bind address? We would need to specify bind address, right? To force it to change the port. That maybe is that what
Oh,
we're
you're
going
reading the
for?
comments. I thought you were asking me. I was
Oh
like,
no,
I
we
have no
don't
idea.
need to because it's an ingress gateway. Sorry, I'm reading ingress gateways config entry. Okay, yeah. So right, we don't need to do this. We're good. We're good. You can delete the address. The reason why
Okay.
is that it's an ingress gateway. It's not a terminating gateway. So since it's an ingress gateway, it will automatically expose the port that it needs. We don't need to tell it where to bind. We're good.
Can you explain that again? That I mean, I heard it, but my brain didn't
Yeah.
really process it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we put dash address originally in the terminating
Mm-hmm.
gateway because we wanted
Yep.
we wanted the terminating gateway to bind to a specific port, right? So that
Right.
we could access the terminating gateway for
Okay.
debugging, for other purposes.
The terminating
So
gateway itself.
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's for health checking, etc.
Oh, okay. I did
Yeah.
not realize that. All right.
Right. It's for health checking. It's so we could access the terminating gateway. In this situation, we don't need to bind anything. So in the terminating gateway, we didn't set the address and everything was fine, right? It did the health checking,
Yeah.
everything was fine. We just used the defaults.
Oh, yeah.
My thought was, oh, we need to bind to port 9090 because we have a listener on 9090.
Mm-hmm.
The point is we don't need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
How does it know that it should be listening on 9090?
you know that config entry we just configured, the ingress
Oh,
gateway.hcl
yeah.
file? Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's why we don't need it.
That is good
Um,
enough.
yes, but Blake did
Nice.
include a helpful document, thank you, that will explain about how you use it with the ingress gateway.
Cool.
Yeah.
So this should be
So
good
it's
then.
using for, gateway health. So we're okay.
So now just got to reload it.
Where it does.
And then we're just restarting the.
Let's hope the ACL has enough to read.
Yeah, I think it might have part of it, right? Because the service token does allow, because we do have this correctly here.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the question, well, the other thing we added to the other one was the allowed ability to write to database, but that's obviously not the case here. So, but I guess we can just try first.
Yeah, let's try it.
Okay.
I think we should be fine, maybe. Those permissions are sufficient. Yes, thank you. Okay, so.
Okay. All right. So I guess I should probably look at the status.
That is very helpful that we don't have to add any more permissions.
Okay. I mean, that looks good. Yeah.
Yeah. So you see that listener 9090, right? That means
Yep.
that it is listening on 9090.
Sweet.
Yeah. If you curl to 9090 on the ingress gateway, let's hope we get the API return, which maybe not. Do we need a intention?
Do we? That's a good question, because right now we don't really have anything for the terminating gateway.
Yes.
Okay. So create.
We need an intention from the ingress gateway to API, right? Otherwise it will just say you're not allowed to anything.
Let me create. Okay, there we go. So from ingress gateway to API, correct?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All righty. And then we will save it and give it a second.
Mm-hmm. So we're allowing traffic from the ingress gateway to the API theoretically,
right.
Which we may or may not have run into an issue. 404 not found. Can you do a slash at the end of it? No. Well, nope. That's also rather peculiar.
Not found.
Yeah. Can you show your config again from Blake?
Yes.
So
the ingress gateway one?
Ingress gateway, yeah. The downside is that we may or may not have the listener is the same as the listener of the Ingress gateway.
Yeah, on
So
the API.
I wonder if they're conflicting a wee bit. Me, I don't know. I don't think it would be.
I feel like if I had to guess that it would account for that case, right? But I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, I
don't
would
know
hope,
either.
but
I think it should be okay. I would think it's okay.
Yeah.
Can you just curl it again, and or we actually like check the HTTP listeners need to have the host header provided on requests. Try curl-i-h host. You know what? I'll just paste it for you.
host.
Yeah.
I honestly have no idea what any of that means.
Okay. So
if I'm being honest.
basically, in order, I forgot this part. When you have an ingress gateway, it needs a host header, right? So this is almost like a DNS. It's saying, okay, here's the host header. It's going to need to direct it to this service. So you need to tell it with the host header as part of the HTTP request. API.ingress.consul means go through the ingress and go to the API endpoint.
Okay. So you got it, as opposed to it just looking at its own local 9090.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Exactly.
So this is different. So this is a step in the right direction, I guess.
So somehow it cannot access the API, perhaps? Can you just, how do we access the API exactly? Can you curl to API 9090 maybe directly?
From where? Here?
The ingress, yeah.
So
does ingress have access to the API VM?
This is a good question. How can I test this?
Can you curl to the IP address 9090 of the API, perhaps?
Yep, it does.
Okay. So it does have access. That is good to know. We have a... Can you do me the favor and update, go into the ingress gateway config?
Yep.
And then can you change the... Yeah. Go in there. And can you change that port to 8888? Not that it means anything, but I'm wondering if maybe it's the conflict. So just change that to 8888.
Okay. We don't have the security group rules. So
That's that. It's okay. It's okay. Can you write config write?
Do we need to do anything to like delete that?
No, because it's the same name, right? It's the same name of the
So it'll just update it?
Yeah, it will update it in place. Yep. Okay, so if you go back to console.
Go back to console.
UI.
Console. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then you go to services. Okay, let's double check. So IG is there. And can you click on the one upstream there? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it looks like that's there.
Yep. So we're good there.
Okay.
Can you go back to the IG, the ingress gateway?
Yep. And
can you curl to localhost with the header, right? curl-i-host, h-host, blah, 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 that whole thing. And then 8888.
Same thing.
Fascinating. I think this is where we have to config dump.
Okay.
It's got to be something we are missing here. Hold on.
Yeah. Do we want to leave the ingress gateway config on the 8888? Like, I guess I'm just trying to eliminate things that could be it and could not be it. Do we think it is? I guess that's a question if maybe Blake knows. Like, if the API service itself is listening on 9090, and then the ingress gateway is listening for 9090 to then direct to the API service on 9090, does that conflict?
I'll pause. He is asking, is the API service listening on the loopback address or the machine's public routable IP address?
I have no idea. Let's see, I can open up the file of how we did it. I know that we did this whole thing down here at the end. But
no,
I don't
if
know.
you it's bound to IP, I think, the first IP. Yeah, so exec start fake service. I think fake service just binds to the first
Yeah,
IP.
to 0.0.0. Yeah, by default.
Bind to all of them. So
yeah.
And
Okay.
we can access it over the routable IP address as well. So it is both. Yeah.
Oh,
and then
here,
Blake
so.
answered your original question, which
Nice.
the Ingress gateway and service can listen on 9090 as long as they're bound to different IPs.
Perfect. So that means that we're okay on that front.
Mhm.
So at least we've eliminated that piece. Just for consistency, can I go ahead and just change this back then to 9090?
Yeah, we
The
can change
Ingress
it back
gateway.
to 9090.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Just so we're doing one change at a time here. And I'll just write that again.
Maybe we need to force the fake service to listen on loopback. Maybe. Hold on.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Yeah. So the default listen address is 0009090. So it's listening to all interfaces. So does it need to only listen on loopback, or can it listen to all interfaces and be okay?
Does listening on all not include the loopback as well?
Listening on all does include the loopback. So that's why I'm not sure if it needs to be exactly all or one or both. It can listen on all interfaces. So yes.
Didn't you mention to do the config dump or something? Would that help?
Yeah, maybe we can look at the config dump and see what happens there.
Okay. Just for my own like breadcrumb trail. It seems like we're pretty close though, right? We're like right here at the door. There's just okay, yeah, that's what I figured.
Right.
So what is that? That's the local host 19,000, right?
Yeah, 19,000.
Big dump.
Or maybe we should have just print out listeners.
Okay.
Oh, why is it on 888 again? Did you update it?
I did, but we never did like delete config or whatever. We just did a bunch of writes.
Oh.
Does that matter?
It should be okay, I guess. Okay. So API ingress. So it's able to write it through, because those are the domains, right? You see API ingress there. So it is recognizing. Can you go down? I know this is a very dumb idea, but can you run the curl command again to 9090 and then just add a slash afterward?
Yeah, I think we did that. This one here.
Yeah.
Right.
Why is it saying service unavailable?
Yeah.
Just upstream connect or disconnect before connection failure.
Is so by hitting localhost 9090 here, is localhost what the Ingress gateway was listening on 9090?
Localhost is what the ingress,
I would imagine,
because we're on the ingress gateway and we're accessing localhost.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So what it's saying then here, what is unavailable? The Ingress gateway or the like proxy or whatever?
It's going to be the proxy can't connect to the API.
So the proxy is telling us that the API is unavailable, not that this is not it telling us that the proxy is unavailable.
Right.
Because obviously, because we just did the config dump thing, so that
Right.
comes from the proxy. Okay.
Right. So it's there. It's available.
Yeah. Yeah. Whoops. Okay. So what's something different that we can try here? What do you think it is? Do you have any like guesses as to what maybe an experiment we can try to eliminate another possibility?
We could dump the listeners and see
Okay.
what it is actually. Yeah. Can
Okay.
you curl localhost 19,000/clusters?
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. So hit that. And then remember the last time we had an issue in that it wasn't discovering it for some reason. So scroll up, scroll
Yeah.
up, scroll up. Okay. So the IP addresses are there, which is good. Now, do we have 2,000 open between all of them? 20,000 open?
Yeah, that's a good question. Let me go see.
Let's double
So the
check that.
clients. Okay, so here is this may be the issue.
Yeah.
We are allowing 20,000 between clients, but not from the Ingress gateway. So is that it?
Okay. That might be it. If you can, I don't actually think we need the 9091 or 9090. I think we just need 20,000.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I think that
So do you want me
makes
to?
sense because it's
Yeah,
going through the proxies. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so we'll get rid of that just in case,
Hmm.
and I'll just change this
Right.
to 20,000.
I forgot that they're through the proxies, so we don't actually really need them through 9091 or 9090. We just need them through the proxies, which might
All
explain
right.
why it can't get to it.
Yeah, and yet we can curl directly to it.
Mm-hmm.
So now we will not be able to curl directly to it, but we will be able to go
Right.
through the proxy.
Yes,
Okay, cool.
exactly. Yep.
Okay, cool. Well,
I wonder, would Terraform Target expedite this process, by the way?
with Terraform, what?
Target, apply target, would it expedite this, like stop the refreshing
I
situation?
have no idea. Would it?
I don't know. I don't remember. I just am impatient. I don't want to sit here watching it refresh state.
Oh yeah, I don't either. But perhaps, yeah. So he says it does. I actually have not used target much. Does that just say you target a specific thing to change only?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, good point. Terraform apply refresh false. You can tell it not to refresh.
Ah.
I forgot that command. Thank you, folks.
Okay. Well,
I forgot that it existed. I was like, oh, we've been staring at this for like 10 minutes.
yeah.
Mm.
Well, Donut General, do you have any other things that we can talk about here? Maybe a recap of everything we just did there.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yes. So we allowed so what happened was that we created the Ingress gateway. Ingress gateway started Envoy proxy. Envoy proxy listens on 20,000 between proxies. So what we realized was that we had created the Ingress gateway, allowed traffic from 9091, 9090 from the Ingress gateway virtual machine to the API services machine. But we realized that since it's going through the proxy, which is port 20,000, we should actually open the port to allow traffic between the proxies and not from 9090 and 91 to each VM. So we have gone back. We have opened the port. Our debugging involved going into Consul, going into Envoy and looking at what the actual listeners were. We noticed that the listeners were registered successfully for the API cluster. Envoy successfully recognized the API cluster, but we didn't open the port 20,000 for it. So we are going back. We're adding port 20,000.
Nice. Question for like when I go to automate this, will I be able to put these different gateway files that we've created into that bootstrap config thing on the server?
I don't No, I mean, it is a config entry. So theoretically, yes.
Yeah.
It should.
Okay, cool.
I'm making the assumption that you can, because it is a config entry. And so it would be a bootstrap. It could likely be a bootstrap config entry.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here we go. So
There we are.
all that.
Yep.
And this will just take like a second now.
Yep. Yeah. So confirmed. Yes, you can put them in there to bootstrap the config.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Just curious for this gate, the terminating gateway one here. Actually, no. What about the database JSON one though? I guess that's my question. In this one,
I will tell you what I do, and that is I use the Terraform
that'd be
provider.
What do you mean?
I use the Consul provider for Terraform to usually register that.
Oh, the external service.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you can use the Consul Terraform provider. You just put it. I would recommend putting it in a different state and then popping in the Consul token and the Consul address.
Okay. So separating it out into a different module.
Yeah. And separating it out into a different module, and then once you get the Consul server, because you have a publicly accessible Consul server, so you just use the token and the Consul API address, and then just use the Terraform provider because it's easier.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, that'll be something new. This looks like it's working now.
There we are. It worked. Yay! Okay, now it should work on the ALB, right?
Yeah. I want to see what happens when okay, so you do have to put the host.
You do
now
have to
we
put the
need
host.
to go to the Ingress Gateways ALB, which I do not currently have open. Let me go find that. I didn't have that on outputs, so pretty sure this is it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going to go to anything.
Well, you can't do anything. You have to pass the host header. So what I recommend you do is go back to your local CLI, go back to iTerm, and go, stay here.
Yep.
And then you do the curl -h host header thingy. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's grab this and then to the like this, right?
9090 is open. Yeah. And then that thing. Yeah. And then
okay, so curl. Well, I can just do this. And then the ALB address.
Yeah, which listens on 80, which should route to 9090, something like that.
Yep, I did it.
Yay! Look at it.
Yay!
You seem so unenthusiastic. What's going on?
I can't believe that it worked.
So the thing is with the Ingress Gateway config, you can add other configs like path-based routing. If you would like, we could do that, Cole. Or we could, we could just end it in the next 10 minutes or something. But so you can
go ahead.
things. Go ahead.
Now I was gonna say maybe we end our journey there, because I gotta figure out I still even though we got it done, it's one of those moments where it's like it works, but I cannot tell you why everything is up and working right now.
Okay. All right. So let's trace the path, right? Or not trace. Yes. Let's talk through the path, right?
Yeah, that would be great.
So Cole, you are on your local machine.
Yes.
You're accessing the load balancer on 80.
I am. Right here.
So load balancer collects the host header, which is api.ingress.consul.
Mm-hmm.
And since there's only one target group, your default target group says, okay, load balancer, you must send any requests you get to Ingress Gateway on 9090, right?
Right.
So
and that
load balancer
thing here.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. So load balancer calls the Ingress Gateway, port 9090, passes the host header.
Yeah.
Ingress Gateway says, hello, load balancer request. I see that you have a host header of api.ingress.consul. Ingress gateway says, I know where that should go because it's an api.ingress.consul. I need to send this to the API service.
Okay.
So Ingress gateway reaches out to API service on port 2000, the proxy for API service on port 20,000, sorry.
Okay.
Right. So it goes from
Yep.
9090 into the gateway. The gateway goes out into 20,000 to the API proxy.
Mm-hmm.
And then that gets sent to the API service.
Yeah.
So that's the end to end.
Yes. Perfect.
Yeah. So what we configured was we configured allowing.
This is what I want to know.
Yeah. So we allowed access to the load balancer on port 80, right?
Yep, we did.
And then we allowed access from the load balancer to the Ingress gateway on 9090.
Right.
And then we allowed access from the Ingress gateway to the API proxy on 20,000.
All right. Nice. So there we go. That knocks out all the security groups.
Yep.
And then from a configuration standpoint that we had to write, what did we do?
Right. We created a configuration entry for the Ingress gateway to listen on 9090, right?
Right.
So that's the connection from the ALB to the Ingress gateway on 9090.
Okay. Right.
Now,
and we told it on that.
Right. Oh, go ahead.
So just question real quick. We were telling it, when you see port 9090, go to API. But we could, for example, add another one that says, and if you see like 9,000, go to a different service.
Yeah.
If we wanted to. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Gotcha.
Or you could say, if you see this header, go to web, which we could do if you want.
Oh, so it doesn't have to just be port.
Yeah. You can open it up.
Oh, okay.
You could open up Ingress gateway again. Because we allowed it all to the console clients. So we should theoretically be able to add this without really doing anything. You can add another array to services, or not another object to services.
Oh, to actual
No, not another listener. Just, you could add another listener for another port, but then we have to open it up on the target group, and then that takes forever.
Okay. Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
So if you add a comma, add a comma to the end of that object, and then add web.
Okay.
Yeah. So put web there.
That is web, right?
Save that.
Okay.
Yep, that's web.
All right. Well, before we save it, like, I am reading this right now as 9090 is going to go to both API and web.
But what you'll be able to tell them is, if you remember when we didn't pass the host header, it did not.
Oh, okay. I think I see where okay. So I'll save this. And then I just need to write it, right?
Yeah. So we can get fancier. We can say, if you see this header, you could go here. If you get,
Yeah. Okay. So that means right there, I should be able to come over to here and change this to web.ingress.consul.
Yep.
Sweet.
If it propagated, I don't know what.
I think the reason being is,
yay! Look at that.
I don't know Wait, what? It says it was forbidden.
It's because, so remember, why would it? Where would we be allowing access from the Ingress gateway to services?
Oh, isn't it the intention?
Yeah. Do it have an intention from the Ingress gateway to web?
I do not believe we do. So we need to make another one.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Yep. Exciting. See, then you can control access, right? It's not like everybody can access web, you know?
Yeah.
You can control it.
So now we can do that. And we should be able to do this again. Oh, it might just take a second, right? Yeah. There we go.
Has to write
Sweet.
it. There we are.
Huh. I was wondering why you were like, That's correct. I was like, am I missing something?
Yeah. No, you were fine. You were fine.
Yeah.
You were fine. It was exciting because it's nice because you
Yeah.
get to see that the intention is
Yeah.
actually working, right? So,
Cool. Nice.
okay. One note from Blake: a listener can front multiple services when it is an HTTP listener, which is why it was important that we updated the protocol to be HTTP. The
Oh, okay.
destination service is keyed off the host header. TCP
Okay.
listeners only support a one-to-one mapping of port to backend service. So if we had a TCP service, we would have to map a port to a specific backend service. We could not add multiple.
Nice.
Yay.
I did not think we were going to make it through this,
We
if
made
I'm
it.
being honest, but I am stoked
Oh,
that we did.
ye
Thank
of
you
little
so
faith.
much, both Rosemary and Blake. Y'all, yeah. Otherwise, I would just be sitting here twiddling my thumbs and thinking about random miscellany, and it would not go anywhere. So,
Well, the good news is that we finally configured this correctly. Our redo was successful. We appreciate
it was.
everybody tuning in for all the help. You know, we always need the help.
Yeah. Me especially.
What? No, it's fine. It's fine. This is not the only gateway. Like I said, these are not the only two gateways available. There are other gateways available. There's an API gateway which runs on Kubernetes. We are not going to show that because we don't talk about Kubernetes. But the next stream, what? You're laughing at me. What's wrong? What's so bad about it? Why are you laughing
We don't
at me,
talk
Evan?
about Kubernetes.
I
Just the
talk
way
about
you said it.
Kubernetes. We don't talk about Kubernetes on this stream.
Yes, right.
Because then it just gets very confusing.
Yeah.
So in this case, we're not going to talk about API gateway, but it has very similar features to the Ingress gateway, with some potential kind of like advanced things that you might need. Next stream, we are going to talk about the really, I think it's a really cool thing that you can do with Consul. It's the one I'm really scared of, Cole. Not because it's
okay.
bad, just because I think the margin for error is going to be really high for us on the next one.
What is it?
There may be a lot of fiddling because it's I never get it right whenever I try to do it the first time. So it's not to say that it's scary. It's just sometimes I just forget the pieces. And, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. But what we're staging for is the mesh gateway. So how do you federate between two meshes? So today we talked about gateways that go mesh to out and then in to mesh. And then next we're going to talk about two meshes.
Oh my. Okay.
just think about that for a second. You
yeah,
see,
that
you're a
yeah.
little you're a little terrified, I think.
We'll live through it, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Yeah.
It is perfectly fine. We're just fiddly people. We just take forever to do everything. All right. With that, I'm glad we fixed the terminating gateway and the ingress gateway setup that we have. If you would like to replay some of the existing videos we already have, check out our playlist on YouTube. We also have this GitHub repository. You can follow along. Cole will be posting this part's fully automated setup onto that repository. Fully automated with quotes. We couldn't automate everything, so we'll try our best. Yeah. Yes. With that, thank you everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next Getting into Consul.